Bones Jones have been dropped. All charges have been dropped. In the February 2025 case of leaving the scene of an accident in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Once again, John Bones Jones charges have been dropped. Oh my. Here's exactly what happened. The misdemeanor charges against John Jones in the case involving leaving the scene of an accident have been dismissed per court records. This is per Damon Morton, MMA Fighting. Unbelievable. This case is bonkers. This case is absolute bonkers. John Jones was accused of leaving the scene of an accident. A woman was stopped by police sitting in the passenger seat with no clothes on the bottom. Said that she's taken mushrooms or some sort of drugs with John Jones, drinking, and then he ran off. And there was a video, and John made some sort of threats to the police. And John said, "I'm innocent, and you'll find out. Quit jumping to conclusions." And here we are. 6 months later, John Jones is off. No charges. Nothing. How does he do it? How does he do it? Wow. Impressive. Impressive legal team. I mean, I'm sure there'll be a book later on in life, maybe 10, 20 years from now. And it'll detail all the wild stuff John Jones did. We know some of it, but there's so much more. That onion needs peeled back. People talk about his brothers as hitmen and just wild stories, not just going under the UFC octagon and hiding and, hit and runs and cocaine and, wild. There's some wild stories out there, and I hope one day we get them. I hope we get them from John. I hope we get them from John's friends. I look forward to it. Johnny Bones Jones, case dismissed. No charges. Here we go again. Alexander Volkanovski, UFC featherweight champion. Alexander Volkanovski had something to say about the notorious Conor McGregor. This is what he had to say about Conor McGregor. I'm surprised he's even talking about McGregor. People still talking about McGregor, and it's like, whoa, why? But here's what Volk has to say. He was a great fighter. He was actually even a bit ahead of his time. He's going to be reasonably sharp, but he's never going to be the same Conor McGregor he was. That's Alexander Volkanovski on a potential fight versus Conor McGregor. I mean, Volk versus McGregor right now, let's say 155, I'd have to take Volk. 170? I don't know. I'd have to take Volk. Prime versus Prime? Prime 145 McGregor versus Volk? I don't know, man. I'm probably going to go McGregor. I know that's a weird way to say it, but today's McGregor, Volk wins, right? McGregor versus Aldo, man, I'm not sure. He was so dialed in. He was so focused. He fought some good wrestlers. Beat him. Yeah, that's my opinion on that one. Volk versus Conor today, Volk takes it. Conor's too big anyway, right? Conor's too big. I mean, Conor's probably walks around 180, 190. He may be able to cut to 170, maybe. As you get older, it's a little harder to cut weight. As you get older, it's just a little harder to cut weight. But, it's possible. It's definitely possible, but it's definitely harder. What do you guys think? Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor versus Volk? It just seems a little silly. Seems a little silly to me. All right, moving right along. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, a.k.a. Javier Mendez, Cain Velasquez, Luke Rockhold. Javier Mendez warns current UFC welterweight champion Jack Della Maddalena to never underestimate his fighter Islam Makhachev's striking ahead of their UFC 220 instead of their UFC 322, clash title fight. Madison Square Garden. Islam Makhachev, unranked at 170, versus the champion Jack Della Maddalena in his very first title defense. What an odd situation. And I don't hear anybody even talking about it. Let's just be honest here. What an odd situation, right? Jack Della Maddalena wins the UFC title, smokes Bilal Muhammad, and just on a caveat, do you remember the champion's name before Jack Della Maddalena? No, you don't. No, you don't. We don't. He never defended a title, and he disappeared after the loss. As a matter of fact, he even says, you know who he is. He even says, I won that fight. I won that fight. Yeah. He jinxed Dricus du Plessis in Chicago. Right? Right? He sabotaged Dricus du Plessis' visit to Chi-Town. You know who I'm talking about. You remember. You remember. By the way, he probably won't even get another UFC win. Let's just be honest. He probably won't even get another UFC win. Let's just not even sugarcoat it, right? It's probably never going to happen. Sean Brady, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, JDM, Islam Makhachev. I can keep going. I can keep going. Maybe even Carlos Prates. He ain't touching any of them guys. He may talk a mean game on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I remember all those tweets. He should fight Colby Covington. Winner retires. You know what I'm talking about. Colby versus loser retires. How about loser and winner retires? It's fucked up, right? Oh well. Deal with it. Usman Nurmagomedov had such an odd thing to say today. You ready for this one? Buckle up. And this is about Ilia Topuria. And remember this. Usman, 0 UFC titles. Ilia El Matador Topuria, 2. Here's what Usman said about Ilia. How many fights does he have? 14? I have 14 finishes in my career. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let's just break this down real quick, right? Let's break this down. Usman Nurmagomedov, record and career accolades versus Ilia Topuria. All right, let's do it. I mean, I know what's going to happen here. It's going to be silly. But we're going to do it because Usman started this. Now we're going to finish it. Right, Usman? I'm not being mean. I'm just saying. I just have to say this. Oh, Lord, help me. Let's go over Ilia Topuria's record here. Okay. 17. This is Ilia Topuria's record. 17 wins, 7 knockouts, 8 submissions, 2 decisions. About a 90% finish rate. Okay. 2 UFC titles, featherweight and lightweight. And then we'll go to Usman. All right, Usman, I see you, buddy. Let's get this right. Got to make it accurate for my people. All right, ready? Usman Nurmagomedov. Okay, here we go. 19 wins, 8 knockouts, 6 submissions, 5 decisions, 1 no contest. Wow. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Usman. Usman comparing himself to Ilia. Let's run this down one more time. 19 wins, 8 knockouts, 6 submissions. So that's 14 finishes. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. He almost lost to Paul Hughes, though, right? He almost lost to Paul Hughes, right? There's so many of these Nurmagomedovs. Unbelievable. Once again, Ilia, 17 wins. 17 wins. 7 KOs. 8 submissions. 15 finishes. I'm going to go with fucking Ilia, man. He's got... Usman has a Bellator title. He doesn't have a UFC title, right? Okay. It's different. Okay? It's way different. To me, it's such a stretch. Yeah. Such a stretch. I don't even know how I feel about it. Weird. How do you compare your career to someone? He doesn't have no UFC titles. He has a Bellator title, and he almost lost to Paul Hughes. Yeah, I'm gonna have to scratch my head on that one. Yep. Colby Covington calls out Paddy Pimblett. Says this is what Colby Covington had to say. The Paddy Pimblett fight super interests me. Come up to 170. Why are you being a weight bully, Paddy? You're a bum. You're a gimmick. If I can't get Paddy, give me Gilbert Eldorino Burns. Yep. All right. Here's what else Colby Covington had to say. This is about Dustin Poirier. He says, Dustin Poirier, he's been scared of my shadow for years. He knows he can't beat me. He's not even willing to try. He's not even willing to try like his friend Jorge. He's going to go into retirement knowing that I owned his soul. He didn't defend his family's honor. That's Colby Covington talking about, Dustin Poirier, who retired. Why is he messing with Dustin? What'd Dustin do? What'd the Diamond do? He's being quiet. He's working out, taking his TRT, spending time with his family, doing charitable events. It's not true, no. The only thing there's truth to is Nate Diaz said he wants to fight Conor McGregor. He said it over the weekend at Dirty Boxing. And the only other truth is Conor McGregor is training, testing, and on track to fight again next year. That is true. So Nate Diaz has never had to worry about much, but if they do fight, it'll be at 170. Nate Diaz is 205 right now. Conor McGregor's about 185. Any questions, just drop them. I'll answer them. I know a lot of stuff about this sport. I cover it every day. Big shout out to Santos Studios, Jackson.com, JacksonPodcast.com. Brand new podcast coming out today, Jackson Podcast, YouTube. Conor McGregor may fight next year. And if he does, it'll be either against Michael Chandler or Nate Diaz. It'll be one of them two. That's it. You pick. I'd rather him fight Nate Diaz. But Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor would be a hell of a crazy first round. That would be fun too. Lerone Murphy is playing UFC matchmaker for the featherweight division. Here's what he had to say. I think it should be me versus Volk and Movsvar versus the winner of Silva and Lopez at UFC Noche for the #1 contender spot. If I win, I would love to defend it in the UK in March. That's Lerone Murphy. Yeah, that's Lerone. Good for you, Lerone. Call your shots, brother. Get out there on social media. It is Shane Gillis. I call myself Gain Shillis. Gain Shillis. Yes. So once again, Usman Nurmagomedov says he has a better resume than Ilia Topuria. I call cap. Frank Trigg, former UFC fighter Frank Trigg, now referee Frank Trigg, says Khabib Nurmagomedov record would not be the same if they had this rule in effect. The knees to the ground an opponent rule, Frank Trigg says, would have affected Khabib's game because the fighters would have tried to knee him and it would have stopped him from the takedowns because he would have ate it in the chin. And he's right. Frank Trigg said he's happy that the 12-6 elbow's back. And he looks forward to maybe some new rule changes. Go check out the episode, Jackson Podcast, Frank Trigg. Very insightful. Coach Javier Mendez says his fighter, Islam Makhachev, is a damn good striker. I'm trying to get this out because it doesn't make much sense to me. Listen, Islam Makhachev is the ground guy, right? He did great against Dustin Poirier standing up, pretty good. But only way he's going to win is if he gets him to the ground. He's not going to win if he stands and bangs with JDM. He needs to hit him a couple times. He needs to get him down to the ground. He needs to go for that famous Darce choke, right? He loves that side choke. But Javier Mendez says that his striking is elite. Islam's striking is elite. I don't think so. Ilia Topuria is a phenom, right? He's a phenom. He's so quiet on social media. He doesn't even, gloat or celebrate. Yeah, man. Oliveira's chin is just done. Oliveira's been around for a long time. It's over. It's over. His title runs over. And he's going to be fighting Fiziev in a month in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rafael Fiziev is a power puncher. Ilia Topuria just got knocked out. Why are we doing this? Makes no sense. Charles should be fighting a grappler or someone with less power. Fiziev just pushed Gaethje 5 rounds to a decision. It was a good fight. Fiziev may knock out do Bronx at home in Brazil. What a risky fight to take. What a risky fight to take for Charles. Chimaev versus Islam at 170 or 185. Yes. Chimaev, I call him Hamzat Chimaev. Hamzat wins. Islam's manager just said yesterday it's not going to happen. He says Hamzat's too big. He's too big, right? That's Ali Abdelaziz. Ali Abdelaziz says Islam needs to stay at 170. Hamzat needs to go up to 205 or stay at 185 and clean out the division. Hamzat does not need to go down to 170 because they're scared if he does, he's going to destroy Islam. He's bigger, stronger, better than Islam. And that's what would happen. He's trying to keep them apart. That's what's happening. Truth. That's truth right there. That's facts. Ilia Topuria's next fight should be against Arman Sarukian in December in Las Vegas. But everybody's whistling Dixie and saying Justin Gaethje earned a spot. No, he didn't. My favorite fighter all time in the history of fighting to watch fight was probably John Jones, Israel Adesanya, And now Ilia Topuria. Those three. And I'm a huge fan of Khamzat Chimaev. Jones, probably Izzy, Ilia Topuria, and Khamzat. How about you, Kev? How about you, Captain Nova? Who do you guys like to watch on TV? Who do you guys get excited to see fight? I used to get excited to see Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz right there. Conor McGregor. But now, Khamzat gets me excited to see. Ilia. Yeah. Chuck Liddell, the Iceman. Daniel Cormier, Strikeforce, UFC heavyweight champion. Light heavyweight champion also in UFC. And now Jiri Prakashka. That's a good list, man. Know what I noticed about your list, Kevin? Is everybody on your list is 205 pounds. They're the big guys. And then DC, you know, he was 205 and heavyweight. You like the big guys, yeah. John Jones was one of my favorites because just his demeanor, you know, he was like everybody wanted to hate him too, you know, so I guess that's what, but I don't like him anymore. Like I lost my, I guess my fanboy. I don't really dig Johnny Bones no more. Yeah, I'm not, all the stuff that's happened, it just doesn't sit well with me. And he's so arrogant. It used to be. Yeah. Remember Rampage, Sugar Rashad Evans, Tito Ortiz. Man, we can keep going on and on. I'm trying to spit out more. I think Keith Jardine was at 205 back then. He was a beast. Yeah, Tito Ortiz. What a legend. Everybody always makes fun of Tito Ortiz. I understand why, but, you know. Give the guy a break. Everybody's getting older now. Give them old man a break. Yeah, like now, 205's pretty decent. Alex Pereira, I mean, he's the big name. Ankalaev, nobody likes. Jiri's up there. You like Khalil Roundtree? I like Khalil Roundtree. I'm a big fan of Khalil Roundtree. I think he's going to be champion one day. I think he has what it takes. I think he could put it together and be champion. Yeah. Ankalaev, dominant. I need to see a little bit more. I'm not on the Ankalaev train yet. If Ankalaev defeats Pereira at UFC 320 in a month, you know, then there we go. And then most likely Pereira will just go up to heavyweight, do some money fights, and then retire. I mean, that's how I would handle it. There's no other way to go through that one right there. Let's see what we got for more news here. I got see, every day I write these notes down. UFC Paris this weekend. You got Imavov versus Barajo. You got Mauricio Ruffy versus Benoit Saint Denis. Brazil versus France. Dana White Contender Series last night. If you missed it, go check out the highlights. I have some of the highlights on my Twitter, MMA Uncensored Twitter. Yeah, we're once again MMA Uncensored, MMA Pack, Combat Sports News. That's who we the channels we're on. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter for MMA Pack and MMA Uncensored. And we do most of our stuff here on YouTube. Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel. We need as many subscribers as we can. Please, helps us out. Tommy McMillan, last night, it was an amazing fight. He got choked out in the first round, but somehow made it out of it. And then just fought back, man. Fought back and got the win. Got some crazy tattoos on him. What a wild character. Tommy McMillan got the win. Got the UFC contract. That's it, guys. We covered most of the news. We can go through the Twitter here and take a peek. See what we got on the Twitter feed. Try to check the news while you're here, people. Yesterday, Rampage Jackson went off on Psycho Stu. Rampage is talking about his son and saying how Psycho Stu was drunk and caused a lot of the problems. And we got the video up on our YouTube if you want to check it out. Stream East, the popular streaming site, Stream East, has been shut down, and 2 men have been arrested in Egypt that ran the site. It had so many views, so there's no more Stream East. Shut down. Stream East has been shut down, and a couple other ones have been shut down. More will pop up. Here's the video of Usman Nurmagomedov saying that he has more.
25. Now I beat former champions, I beat champions, and I think my resume is like better than him. He only 15 or 14, 13. How many fight he?
I think 14. I think that's the number.
But I have 14 finished in my career.
Absolutely. So after Islam wins the welterweight title, then you can officially declare yourself the #1 lightweight.
Henry Cejudo bulking up, looking big. That's Kelvin Gastelum next to him. Hey, Kevin, take care, brother. We'll hopefully see you soon. Have a great day. Have a great day, Kevin. Yep. Three years ago, Tai Tuivasa dropped Cyril Gane. Here's a slow motion of the KO last night beat by JPL at Dancing with the Stars. A super bad, crazy combo. Boom. Kick. One more. Boom. Unbelievable. Did you know that Khamzat Chimaev has 7 UFC post-fight bonuses, and Khabib only has 2? And I looked this up. I researched it. Some sites said 5 and 3, and anyway, it's 7 and 2. Khamzat Chimaev has received at least $350 in bonuses, and $100,000 for Khabib. Islam Makhachev is the favorite against Jack Della Maddalena, JDM. How about that? At UFC 322, the numbers are the favorite Islam Makhachev, and he's not even the champion. You know, he's coming for the title. Minus 260, and JDM, the last time I checked, was around plus 200. We have a new Jackson podcast with Elijah Smith and Rampage Jackson, brand new, dropped yesterday. Jackson Podcast YouTube. Once again, Colby Covington goes off on Dylan Dennis. He said he's a bum. Colby Covington. Wow. John Jones' statement yesterday after his case was dropped. I'll read it to you. I want to begin by thanking the District Attorney's Office for carefully reviewing the facts and ultimately vindicating me completely. Blah, 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 blah. I sincerely hope that the individual is held responsible, the woman, by Albuquerque Police Department. They are not disrupted. They not only disrupted my retirement, but also made our public police department appear negligent. John Jones. Jesus Crow. Unbelievable. Johnny Bones. Chael Sonnen says he thinks John Jones could have been the best ever, with or without steroids. It doesn't matter. He didn't need to take them. That's Shale Sonnen, the American gangster. Shale P. All right, well, that's it for our live news. I try to come on here as much as possible. Sometimes I do it 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'll drop a brand new video today. Check it out. It'll be about all the news from today and some of the news that we didn't even discuss. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's really important to me. Appreciate that. Thank you, fans. I'm Chris, MMA Uncensored, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Have a great day, right? Have a great day, fight fans.